and welcome to HES Talks. Today I have a very special guest, and we are going today to talk about global systems and consciousness, how we are going to lead the future. And the guests here are not yet scientists, are not yet politicians, but they are pure potential. They are our students of our school, of Anand Niketan International School, and they were in the organizing committee of the 5th edition of MUN, Model of the United Nations, that took place just several days back. And I really wanted to have a dialogue, that open and candid dialogue about the future of humanity. So this is our task. So during our conversation and dialogue, and first of all, I would like to introduce. Today we have Sahana and Aarya, and they will just share their reflections, their experience, how it went, how did you feel? Because we had more than 250 students from different schools, different educational institutions joined, and you have committees. So please explain, how did it look like?
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Sahana Pathak. I was the Secretary General, or basically the head of the entire MUN.
Yes, please. Next, Secretary General.
Yeah. Yes. So overall, we had about 7 committees, and we wanted to really tackle as widespread issues as possible. So we had committees from Indian committees like Lok Sabha, 2 committees such as the United Nations Women's Commission for Women's Rights, and the United Nations Human Rights Council, the United Nations Commission on Drugs and Crime, because we wanted to try and cover such a wide variety of topics. And for us, the MUN was, I think, an amazing experience. Yeah, it was because the main thing that made us different from other MUNs that happened was that we're beginner friendly. Most of our participants were all in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and for the first time they were being exposed to such global issues, to such ways of critical thinking, and kind of dealing and tackling with, okay, so it's bigger than just my personal issues.
Absolutely, yes. This is amazing perspective, actually. What MUN gives us is just that kind of exposure to real problems that are on a global stage. They are not just abstract problems. And this experience gives you really that kind of sensitivity to reality we live in.
Yeah, because it really changes your perspective. In an MUN, you are not Sahana. You are the delegate of a country, and you have to present yourself as the delegate of that country. So it really shows your perspective of how does Kazakhstan think? How does Kazakhstan deal with climate refugees? How does the world work? How do other countries think? We don't really think about this on a day-to-day basis until you're forced to do it for a competition, right?
So it was, as far as I understood, so that you touched 2 perspectives. One is very personal, so that you are not just Sahana. You are a representative of a country. You are a representative between the countries, so that a dialogue can happen. So what about you, Aarya?
Hello, my name is Aarya. I was the head of outreach for the ANMUN 2025. And basically, I took my passion forward, and I helped our organizing committee to encourage a lot of youth and a lot of students from different schools to be a part of the Anand Niketan Model United Nations.
Wow, amazing.
Because personally for me, I really feel like ANMUN, especially this edition, it really helped a lot of us not just think about politics, but also think about collaboration between countries. Because as other MUNs, especially this MUN, it gave us and it gave all of the delegates a chance to be and to represent another nation. For example, a student or a youth from India got the chance to be the delegate of South Africa. So just like that, a lot of delegates got the exposure to understand and to feel the responsibility and the connection of every nation's voice, especially the youth. So
yeah, and as you mentioned, organizing even this kind of event, it's not a very simple task, right?
Not at all.
Can you just, how it is, even on just within, let's say, one country, within perhaps one city or state, right?
Yeah.
Even to organize people to come to participate, it's a huge task, huge responsibility, and you did it absolutely amazing. So how can you reflect? What was the most difficult part in organizing? Because actually today we're going also to touch this part that any kind of structures, they based on the communication first, right? Which is not that easy. What kind of challenges or what kind of good things you just found out that you didn't expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think she can talk about the outreach part specifically.
It was quite challenging to encourage a lot of students to be a part of ANMUN, especially those students who have never been a part of ANMUN or been a delegate before, especially those students who or those youth who are not used to speaking publicly, and especially those youth who just feel that ANMUN is all about politics and it's all just about being a part of committee and winning. So it was a really difficult task to convince them and to ensure them that this MUN was not just about winning, it was about realizing that MUN and being a part of a committee and winning is not the only thing, but understanding, having empathy, and having an intellect about everything that's going on around us, about having awareness is more important. That's the main benefit.
That's amazing point. I would like to just stop here and reflect on that, because it's very important point for me when I reflect on how this cooperation, global cooperation and communication happens. Mostly it's about, and even in UN, I mean in real UN, it's about debating, it's about winning, it's about competing, it's about struggle. But what you mentioned is to bring them to another level where they need to shift from debate mode to a dialogue mode, to understanding. And this is very important part, and I'm really very happy to hear that you could experience, you see, through that, to bring from competition to dialogue mode. It's actually a very difficult task.
And I think for the outreach team, I remember how many people Arya must have cold emailed and cold messaged to be like, we would love to come for an orientation to your school. We would love to come for an orientation. And
It was
it's a difficult.
quite tough, but yeah, we tried our best.
It was
And
a trying
pushing our
process.
limits and trying our best was
Yeah.
another different experience because you kind of need that exposure. So
That's amazing, because you see, this is actually what we need. You mentioned that pushing our limits for, to make this dialogue happen, to make people come together. So this is actually what we need, because in our, what I observe as an adult, in our, present situation in the world, and even UN right now, they, representatives of different countries, and they, I would say, protect and they negotiate, keeping in mind the interests of separate countries. That's why it's very difficult to bring them together and to have this dialogue. No one wants to push these limits. No one wants to come and bring that dialogue. So what you did, and you experienced this amazing part, and I wish you could continue, because this is the pure intention of dialogue that can help people to understand that we all here not just representatives of some specific countries or some specific isolated political interests. We're humanity. We are all together, and we need to protect life on this planet. We live on this planet, and that kind of perspective, always when I see any kind of political news, I always remember how our astronauts, they share their experience when they are just look at Earth. You see, from above, from space, no borders are there. This is what we have: no borders, no visas, nothing. This is just an amazing planet where life exists, unique life, and we all are a part of that. All these, you see, limitations and divisions, they're quite artificial. They change over time. Let's say how many countries now we have on planet. They didn't exist, let's say, perhaps several centuries ago, or if thousands of years. Everything is changing, but what is still stable, but we're experiencing problems anyway. Life. We need to protect life. But my question is so that you felt how it's difficult and tough to bring people. But while having this MUN, what kind of a structure? Because you experience the structure itself as it is, right? So you mirrored that. How do you think? Did you feel any limitations or any ideas how to improve?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can share your reflections.
Definitely. I think what you just talked about, being a global citizen, is so important. Recognizing that you're part of something bigger than what you think you're a part of, right? And that's what we see in the students that come for these MUNs. We can really see their perspectives change and their eyes and their horizons kind of widen as they realize, okay, wow, someone out there has it really worse than me. And no matter what country they're from, what religious belief they're from, that's not okay. That's not right. So, for example, we had the United Nations General Assembly, and their topic was about climate refugees and whether they deserve asylum or not. Now, of course, some countries have controversially, spoken out about it and said that we're against it or we're with it or so is what. And I was talking to a student who was a delegate there, and they said, I was reading up the reports and it's terrifying. Imagine losing your whole home in an instant because of something you've not even contributed to. You're a kid, you haven't even done anything to this planet yet, and you're still losing your entire home. Having that kind of empathy and that critical thinking to think, this is happening on my earth, my globe, and they deserve that empathy from me, is really tough to cultivate when you're young. Because when you're going through puberty and when you're at this age, you kind of feel like the world revolves around you and your problems. And kind of coming to that realization that there's so much more going on is really important. And I think that is something that an MUN does do.
So it was a very nice, I would say, psychological
Yeah.
experience for all of us
Yes.
to feel, I mean, more than your life. I mean, everyday life can just give you the experience.
Yeah.
So it's amazing part. And you mentioned about consciousness. This is exactly, and empathy. This is what we need to focus, because any kind of structures, what I personally feel, they won't be enough if there won't be that kind of consciousness, empathy, awareness, and understanding from human side. Any structures you can create, any idealistic, any wow structures, they won't work until we can experience and we can feel differently. And we can feel differently. And you see, even right now, we all speak about respecting differences, different cultures, as if we are just, I mean, saying something perhaps good, but actually we are dividing. If we focus our attention to something that unites, something basic as humanity, as humans, it's okay. We have different cultures. We are all different. This is, I mean, I would say default mode of what we have. But what is common thing that unites us? We want to live. We want to be happy. No one wants, as a person, to go to war and to die for something, I don't know, any kind of, you see, political reasons. So the thing that you touched, and it's really valuable insight, is to bring that another level of experience, to push your limits and to go out of existing your personal experiences, to be a part of humanity. And this is amazing thing, because right now all the problems, they are not, they do not belong to some specific countries, separate countries. They are systemic. They're interconnected. We have shared problems. We need to understand that.
Yes.
And we are all humanity as just humanity.
Yeah.
You see? So that this kind of thing is very important. Another question that I wanted to ask, how do you feel? Because you're a young generation, you are very comfortable and very fluent with technology. How do you feel? Can technology, AI or just whatever, help to connect people at this level and to bring that awareness, to bring that global consciousness that we need? Any ideas?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think AI as a concept is on a bit of a precarious balance right now, because a lot of it is a bit of a hoax when people exaggerate and say, it's going to take away jobs, it's going to destroy lives. I don't believe that. I believe that we as humans need to adapt as technology keeps coming up, and just as many jobs as AI might take away, it also creates just as many jobs, right? For people who know how to use it well, it's definitely a tool. But at the same time, when we talk about human connection, I feel that AI can start slowly dismantling that and dismantle the systems that we've already had it built, because we've seen that happen with social media. Even though we're more connected through social media, all of us feel more disconnected from people truly. And I feel as if AI will only further that. I've been seeing online there are people who have been making AI versions of their dead grandparents or their dead parents, and they're saying that it's to better emotionally connect with them. But does it honor their memory? Does it respect their memory? Are we trying to trick ourselves into an illusion or a simulation of some sort? And this is only the beginning. AI is only going to get more powerful. And unless we don't harness it and use it the right way, I do truly believe it can cause the fragmentation of these connections.
So whatever you mentioned is exactly, it's not about AI, it's about humans. Again,
Yeah.
about consciousness.
Yeah.
Again, about why do we use, for what we use that. So that any technology, any tools can be used in different directions. So who is using?
Yeah.
This is the question.
Exactly.
You see? So I think while summarizing, and you have this amazing experience, and we will continue, right, the next year.
Yeah.
So to expose students to this kind of different global scale experiences, if you could share, some valuable insights or some suggestions to students who will join next year, what would you just, any suggestions?
Join next year's MUN?
Yes.
Anything?
Anything you
I
want,
would
just.
like to say that whenever you give an everyone, especially the annual, I feel it's really important to realize that it's not always going to be about power. It's going to be about connecting with other delegates, about having that sense of empathy, and that you're going to have that intellect which will help you have more empathy towards another nation's voice. Because in the end of the day, it's going to be about connecting and collaborating with them, about feeling what they're feeling, and about taking
Absolutely.
forward the responsibility that the youth has.
Because an MUN isn't about a debate competition, it's
Yeah.
about collaboration, right? I mean, all I would say is, just try your very best and put in your all, because it takes a lot of courage to register for something like an MUN, to come up here and give speeches and argue with people, because most of us aren't comfortable with doing that. Most of us weren't born out of the womb public speaking. We've all learned how to do it. But that's why I say that if you've had the courage to register for something like this, then give it your all. Because an MUN isn't about winning, it's about the experience you'll have over the next 2 days, right?
Amazing. Thank you very much. You see, I would like that your wishes, your ideas and
Yes.
thoughts reach not only students and parents, but reach even UN
Yes.
representatives for different countries, so that they can also focus on cooperation, focus on empathy, understanding each other, because we really need peace.
Yeah.
We really need peace, and we need to develop, as a humanity, not as separate countries with their separate political interests. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed our talk, and I wish you all the best in your life. And please keep on exploring and pushing limits of your personal experiences and being global citizens responsible for life itself. Thank you very much. See you at our next HES Talks.